as you grow older, you will always be able to reflect on your high school years and accomplishments proudly. The students in this class represent some of the best and brightest in the nation.
As you stand today on the front lines of your future, know this: you are ready, you are resilient, and you will always be part of the El Medina family.
Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. As you take on this next chapter in your journey, do it with confidence. You've proven time and time again that you are capable of facing sudden change and succeeding.
As you leave here today, I urge you to embrace the challenges ahead with the same determination you've shown throughout your time here. The world is waiting for your brilliance. Carry your experiences with pride and never forget the power of your story.
The world needs more people just like you, who can think differently, who can find unconventional solutions to conventional problems. You've proven that there's more than one way to succeed.
In life, whatever you do it with purpose, do it with passion, and do it with pride. I close with words from the great Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. Class of 2025, go show the world what's possible.
I call the opening session of the July 14th Board of Education meeting to order at 5:03 p.m. Madam Clerk, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Are there any public comment cards on closed session?
No, we don't.
Okay, I adjourn this meeting to closed session at 5:03 p.m.
always be able to reflect on your high school years and accomplishments proudly. The students in this class represent some of the best and brightest in the nation.
As you stand today on the front lines of your future, know this: you are ready, you are resilient, and you will always be part of the El Medina family.
Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. As you take on this next chapter in your journey, do it with confidence. You've proven time and time again that you are capable of facing sudden change and succeeding.
As you leave here today, I urge you to embrace the challenges ahead with the same determination you've shown throughout your time here. The world is waiting for your brilliance. Carry your experiences with pride and never forget the power of your story.
The world needs more people just like you, who can think differently, who can find unconventional solutions to conventional problems. You've proven that there's more than one way to succeed.
In life, whatever you do it with purpose, do it with passion, and do it with pride. I close with words from the great Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. Class of 2025, go show the world what's possible.
Hello, OUSD family, staff, community, and our brilliant scholars. I'm Dr. Rachel Monatis, and I'm truly honored to serve as your new superintendent. I am so excited to return home to Southern California and join a district that values excellence, equity, and community. For more than 30 years, I've worked alongside students, families, and educators as a teacher, principal, and district leader. Most recently, I served as the superintendent in Worcester, Massachusetts, where we made some meaningful progress in academic achievement, family engagement, and future-ready learning. As I begin this journey in Orange Unified, I am committed to listening, learning, and leading with intentionality and purpose. My entry plan will guide our transition with care, focusing on 5 key components: student success, board collaboration, operational efficiency, a positive culture, and community trust. Over the next few months, I'll be visiting schools, meeting with staff and families, and hearing from our scholars, because the heart of OUSD is you. Together, we'll build on our district's strengths and create a future where every child is inspired, supported, and empowered to learn and to lead. Thank you for the warm welcome, and I can't wait to get started.
At El Medina High School, science transcends mere subject matter. It embodies a mission. Thanks to a strong partnership with the nonprofit Get Inspired and the Hub SeaWorld Research Institute, students are working to restore California's ocean ecosystems, one fish at a time. This semester, El Medina students in Jessica Anderson's ecological research class raised white sea bass, learning about the species' decline due to overfishing and how conservation science is helping them recover. From daily tank cleaning and water testing to feeding and measuring the fish, students were immersed in real-time marine biology, ultimately releasing their fish into Huntington Beach Harbor. The Sea Bass in the Classroom program offers students throughout Southern California a rare, hands-on experience in marine science, contributing to a statewide initiative that releases over 100,000 white sea bass annually. Each fish is tagged for tracking, and when one is caught, anglers are encouraged to send in the fish's head, assisting researchers in monitoring the species' survival and migration patterns.
For $58.37, anybody can get a fishing license to take from the ocean every single day, but there's really nobody who puts things back in the ocean. And so these students have had a wonderful lesson this year. They learned about how we lost the white sea bass from overfishing, and now they get to be part of the solution.
Our El Medina students are doing just that, giving back, restoring life, and discovering the true meaning of stewardship. At Canyon High School, physics class literally ends with a splash. Every year, physics students face the ultimate challenge, constructing a boat made solely of cardboard and duct tape, and racing it across the school swimming pool and back without sinking. It's part of Canyon's long-standing tradition, the physics boat race. Students apply what they've learned all year about buoyancy, force, and motion to design a boat that floats, holds a classmate, or even a brave teacher, and moves quickly. The race isn't just about winning, it's about teamwork, real-world STEM learning, and school spirit. Students spend hours engineering their boats, and the entire campus comes out to cheer them on. The crowd's energy is electric, and the support from fellow students is unforgettable. For many, it's a highlight of their time at Canyon, and some students even take physics just to compete. The Canyon Physics Boat Race is more than a science project. It's a memory in the making.
I call the regular session of the July 14th Board of Education meeting to order at 7:05 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Dr. Morales, do we have any reports? Monadas, do we have any reports of closed session?
Yes, we do. Item 2B, Public Employee Appointment Government Code, Section 54957. The Board of Education is pleased to announce the following appointments. Olga McCullough as Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources and Dalia Resendez as Assistant Principal of Elementary Schools. The vote was 7-0 in the affirmative. We have Ms. McCullough and her family here in front of us, so thank you for coming. I don't think I see Ms. Resendez, so we're happy to have you joining us, Ms. McCullough.
Fantastic. All right. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion.
Trustee Thomas, do we have a second? Trustee Glass, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right. First item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Monadas.
Yeah, so I'm very happy to be here this evening and share my first report. I had to put my glasses on, make sure I can see what I'm reading. So this is my 9th day of leading this amazing district. I have nothing but positive things to share. I've met so many wonderful people who are deeply committed to Orange Unified, and they find joy in the work that they do. It's really a beautiful thing to see. I am currently in a very deep mode of listening to learn, and as your new superintendent, I believe it's paramount that I learn about the traditions and history of the district, honoring what has worked as we move forward to this next level of excellence. Over the last 9 days, I've had the opportunity to meet individually with each board member, the assistant superintendents, union leadership, speak with some parents, and engage with our local press. I am grateful for each conversation as they give me insights into the district's strengths and the opportunities for improvements, or what I like to call OFIs, for OUSD. Each question that comes to me helps me to see where we may need some systems improvement and some growth opportunities. So what have I learned thus far? Our transportation, nutrition services, maintenance and operations, warehouse, and the entire business side of the house, they're so committed, proud, and vested in the children in OUSD. I've heard a spirit of continuous improvement and innovation from them. And this is what our families and children deserve. I have learned that our families are deeply engaged with their children and the district. They expect the best and are willing to roll up their sleeves and partner with us to make this happening. That is a true blessing. They too are committed to offering the most dynamic educational programs to our children while listening to the community and finding common ground. I heard that in our board members as well. I firmly believe the role of the district office is to create and nurture the conditions for schools to excel. Schools are where the children learn, and a district office that deeply understands and believes their role is to create these conditions for success will be how OUSD operates. Our aspirational culture will be things like, what do you need? How do I support you? What barriers do we need to remove so that your school can shine? Those are the questions we will be asking. I'm committed to building bridges and staying focused on the possibilities in our staff, our families, our children, and public education. I think too often we look at situations through a lens of or. Do we focus on literacy or innovation? Do we spend resources on athletics or curriculum? Do we punish poor decisions, or do we teach new behaviors through restorative practices? As your new superintendent, I believe that we can hold both truths together. We can do both. We can do and. When we see and lead through a lens of and, we find common ground, listening to each other and build thriving learning communities for our students, families, and for all children. And so as your superintendent, I pledge to lead through a lens of and, building bridges, possibilities, and nurturing the learning environment so every child receives what they need and deserve to thrive. Now I'd like to say a little bit in Spanish. Para las familias que hablan español, primero quiero decir que español no es mi primer idioma, es mi segundo idioma, entonces a veces van a oír errores cuando habla, so discúlpame. Quiero decir que este año vamos a enfocar en posibilidades de maestros, de familias y de sus hijos. Cada niño tiene la posibilidad de alcanzar sus metas y sueños con la ayuda de los adultos en su vida. Quiero trabajar con ustedes haciendo un puente entre la escuela, los maestros, los directores y la familia. Cuando enfocamos en posibilidades, podemos encontrar soluciones para todos y últimamente nuestros hijos avanzan con éxito. Esto es mi promesa a ustedes. I look forward to the remainder of the summer where I will continue to listen, learn, and engage with the Orange Unified School District family, building bridges of possibility for children, staff, and the families that we serve. Thank you.
Thank you. It's time for the President's report, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful summer and getting some well-deserved rest and relaxation. I know that our administrators are hard at work getting ready for the next school year. You don't get as much rest and relaxation during the summer, but I hope everybody else is taking some time to themselves. I'm sure our board is somewhat grateful for not having so many meetings back to back. July is usually a little bit of a slow month, and we're happy for those of you that have chosen to show up. Ms. McCullough, welcome. We're excited to meet you and work with you. I want to welcome our new superintendent, Dr. Manadas. From the moment she stepped into this role, how many work days? Nine days ago? She hit the ground running. She is passionate, and what I can only imagine she feels like at times, I feel she's probably feels like she's drinking from a fire hose at times. Orange Unified is a dynamic and complex district with a lot of moving parts, and we can see that she's approached this transition already with such energy, curiosity, and a commitment to listening and collaboration, and we appreciate that. I'm truly grateful for the way you've already begun to engage with people, parents, go to places that make our district so special. You've already demonstrated in this short time your dedication to clear, thoughtful communication. You've had that opportunity with a couple of things that have been going on with regards to federal funding, and you've been right out there, and I appreciate that. I know the board appreciates that as well. So we look forward for the opportunity to walk alongside you as you navigate this journey, and we look forward to your report tonight on your entry plan. So thank you. I also want to take a moment tonight to recognize Dr. Ken Miller. Is he here? Dr. Miller? What? Hello, Dr. Miller. He was in here. I thought he was just in here. Come on up, Dr. Miller. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm supposed to be on the mic, Kevin. Kevin will not be happy. Oops. Oh. There's that voice. We hear it. Okay. So I want to recognize you, and I understand you'll be retiring at the end of the month after decades of devoted service to Orange Unified. Dr. Miller has been so much more than a leader. He's been our storyteller. You've been our ambassador, and without question, the unmistakable, if not the unmistakable voice of OUSD, even if not officially the voice of OUSD. If you've ever heard his deep, booming voiceovers at Fred Kelly Stadium or in ads at Angel Stadium, you've heard the pride that he holds for our students and the loyalty he holds to Orange Unified and our mission. He's been with us as an administrator in various roles for nearly 20 years of the 31 years he spent in public education, and we're grateful for that. Dr. Miller, your commitment and heart for this district have left a lasting impression. You're a good man through and through. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah. And though we wish you all the joy and rest in retirement, we sincerely hope you'll find your way back to us from time to time because you're always welcome back. So thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mrs. President. I appreciate you so much.
Sure, of course. Thank
You're so
you.
kind.
If you have anything you'd like to say, we'd love to hear it. It can be part of my report. I'll incorporate it.
I just want to thank you for your kind recognition. It's totally unexpected, so thank you. And I just appreciate Cabinet. Dr. Monades, it's great to get to know you, even though it's short term right now, but I'll always sing the praises of Orange Unified, be in our community still, because we do great things for kids. And thank you very much for what you said. It's always and, not or. So I think that's what we're all about, and I just want to thank you all very much. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I think hopefully my wife's watching at home, so it was a decision that we made together, and so it's just looking forward to good times ahead. So, but thank you for everybody. I love my service here, so I just love our district, and we do have a couple ads still playing, so listen to that radio.
So we'll
we are
still
doing,
hear your voice.
We are doing great things. The work never ends. So thank you for your time, though. I appreciate it. Very heartfelt. Thank you.
Thank you. So I wanted to take a moment to address an issue that is weighing heavily on the hearts and minds of many in our community, and that's the current surge in immigration enforcement activity and the manner in which that enforcement is happening. We have, for the past month, witnessed something most of us have never seen in our lifetimes. In addition to serving on this board, I'm an attorney and I sit on the board of a local family resource center. And in all of the contexts, we've seen firsthand how these policies are playing out on our streets. Right here on Chapman Avenue the other day, and we see a real fear that is disrupting and in some cases tearing families apart. To be clear, the fear that people have is not just felt by undocumented persons. The fear is felt throughout many in the immigrant communities, and in this area in particular, the Latino community. And some of those people are citizens, green card holders, those with pending cases in immigration court, and undocumented people. Many households are of mixed status, and American children are living in fear their parents will not come home. Some of the families we serve are so scared, they're skipping food distributions and essential services, literally choosing hunger over being seen in public. I've had the honor of attending an immigration hearing for one of our own local families, an El Medina family, and I can't tell you how heartbreaking it is to see a grown man, a proud, hardworking man, brought to tears after enduring conditions that no American should ever stand for. I don't think that's the kind of community that we should aspire to be. I don't think it's sustainable for society, a society that relies on the strength of every single one of our members. We know our immigrant families are essential to our economy and our culture, and their presence enriches our neighborhoods, classrooms, churches, and community spaces. They work with us, they own businesses, their children attend school with ours, and we sit on sports fields together. But what is hopeful and inspiring is the people coming together on this issue. I can say even in my own life, I have a dear friend of 35 years, and we disagree on pretty much everything, but this issue is not one of them. This is one that people of faith, humanists, civil libertarians, people of differing political persuasions are coming together and helping our community. And I'm grateful for the many community resources. El Medina Family Resource Center, Friendly Center, to name a few. I'm grateful for the many community members who are stepping up and standing by our neighbors. I'm grateful to those local heroes who are rising up to support and speak out, some of them elected officials in our community representing us. And I'm grateful to the many people donating food and other items to people who need it. They're coming together, they're advocating for basically human rights and for justice. As your public school district, we want to continue to reassure our community that we are committed to protecting our students' rights and do not collect data or distribute data regarding immigration status. That is not our business. Our business is providing education, safety, and well-being to all of our students to ensure they are able to learn and to thrive. All students enrolled in summer school are provided meals, and all children under 18 can receive free meals Monday through Friday at Portola or Yorba middle schools, and Monday through Thursday until July 31st at the El Medina Branch Library. Additionally, our Student and Community Services Office is open to those who need it and can personally tailor services to meet the needs of students, including counseling, academic supports, and any other kind of supports that are necessary. Our Office of Student and Community Services can be found on our website, and also you can provide the phone number to anyone that needs it, which is 714-628-5424. We have a lot of students attending summer school, and it's heartening to see the joy shining through in our students. My understanding is that we are having good numbers of students that are showing up, and we hope that that continues. I've been following Instagram, and just shout out to Cambridge Elementary for its awesome social media. It's hilarious, and they're really cute. Sometimes hilarious, sometimes just super touching. Children are thriving in these environments and are just having safe, fun, good time being kids. And these images, the joy and friendship, remind us of what's possible when we really create spaces that uplift and protect our children. We're working hard to keep that trust in our district. Not only are we doing all we can to maintain safe and welcoming environments for every child today and now, but we are planning, and I appreciate Dr. Monadas and other staff who are starting to plan for the fall to give families the very best options we can offer them. Our commitment is clear, and that's to ensure every student is placed in an environment where they are safe, can learn, grow, and be served in the most meaningful way possible. And that is our commitment, and that is our desire. It doesn't matter where you come from. Our schools are your schools, and we are proud to serve. So thank you to everybody that is doing everything in this community to help other people and to really make the community a better place and a stronger place. So thank you. That's the end of my report. Next item, approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion? No minutes. I'm sorry, you're right. Okay, on to public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments?
We have 6 non-agenda public comments.
6 non-agendas, okay. All right, moving on to action items. We have a tentative agreement between the Orange Unified School District and the California School Employees Association. Dr. Whitmer, this is your item. Will be Ms. McCullough's next time, but for tonight, this is yours.
Good evening, President Erickson, trustees, and Superintendent Monadas. Tonight we're bringing you an agreement between CSEA and Orange Unified School District. We had a positive series of negotiations and are very happy to bring this to you, recommending it for your approval this evening. Thank you.
All right, does anybody have any questions or comments before we make a motion? All right. Does anybody like to make a motion?
I'll move it.
Trustee Thomas? Anybody want second? Trustee Glass? Should we just do you guys for the whole meeting? Okay, perfect. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0. All right. As we can see, we do have a light agenda tonight, and that is because we are welcoming our superintendent and because it is summer, and it is nice to be able to have a little bit of a break from a lot of the really heavy items that we have. But our first information item I'm excited to hear is our superintendent's entry plan overview. So Dr. Monadas.
Different to be on this side. All right. Well, good evening, Board President Erickson, trustees, staff, and community. Tonight, I'd like to give a little bit more information, put some meat on the bones as it relates to the entry plan that is posted on our website, and how I am and will continue to immerse myself into the Orange Unified School Committee, the Orange Unified School District community. And I really want you as the board to get a sense of how I lead and what behaviors and actions you can expect from me now through fall and into my tenure here in Orange. I do want to thank you for taking time with me while I was still in a different state to provide input on the draft presentation. So you're going to hear some things tonight that we've talked about in the entry plan, or you gave me some input on, and I'm sharing it again because just to connect to that memory and then take that new idea forward. So tonight specifically, I'm going to give you an overview of the entry plan implementation. So not so much the plan itself, but how I plan on implementing it. How many times can I use plan in one sentence? Understand how and from whom input will be gathered, and then just review a broad timeline on the entry plan. So as you recall, in the entry plan, there are some specific outcomes, and these outcomes are really meant to be used as a broad barometer of how this entry plan is being implemented. The plan itself has been posted on the website since July 1st, my first day, and then officially announced on Monday, July 7th, with both a letter and a video to the families and to the community, kind of a soft rollout on July 1st, knowing that people would be in, thinking about the 4th of July, and then making it much more formal on July 7th. It is my intention always to work very diligently to get information out to families in a variety of modalities, understanding that one way does not work for all. And we have this continuum of families and how different families will need information. So I want to share that I am ecstatic to hear that we are piloting Parent Square. As I have found that it's made a world of difference for families, the opportunity to really streamline outreach, creating an avenue for two-way communication, doing that in a variety of languages. It will be a game changer for our families and our staff as they learn to use it, and it's a pretty intuitive system, so I look forward to the implementation this school year. It's a slow pilot kind of rollout, but we will be doing that, and it will make, again, you will get great feedback. Initially, it'll be a little difficult. People will be a little uncomfortable with it, but I promise you, it'll be a wonderful experience. And, most importantly, it's going to expedite communication to families in a timely, accurate, and useful manner. So the outcomes for this entry plan, first and foremost, upon the end of the entry plan or during the process with it, we as a governing team right here need to have some clarity around how we're going to work together and what our kind of agreements around what I put on here, standard operating agreements. We may call it that, we might call it something else. I have learned already in my first 8 days that you have a handbook that you designed last school year, so we'll want to take a look at that, and that'll probably be something that we build together and then take it to the next step, right? So that's a really big, important piece because I like to think of us as the head of the district, right? The head of the body. And when the head is strong and the head is healthy and the head is in a good place, the body comes along very nicely, right? When you're not feeling well in your head, it's really hard to be the best, give your best in terms of your body. So how we work together, extremely important, and that's a big outcome of this entry plan. The next outcome, right now, it's summertime, obviously not as much to get out to, although I will be getting to some of the summer programs. But when school starts, it will be my intention to get out and about into our schools on a very regular basis, at least 2 schools a week is always my goal, and sometimes more. And when I'm there, it's not just a pop by, it's spending time getting to know with the principals, walking the classrooms, getting a feel for the school. So large number of schools by November and 100% of the schools at the end of the school year. And again, stopping by for some kind of event, I'm not counting that as a visit. That's just cherry on top, right? This is really spending time with the principals, understanding what their school is about, talking about the strengths and what are the opportunities for improvement. I will, and I'm working with, as you all know, Karen is an amazing assistant, and we are working on calendaring all the different meetings that need to take place, because if you don't get them calendared, they won't get done, right? So calendaring a vast number of people within the first 100 days. Plan on me coming back to you sometime, I'm thinking early winterish, so December probably, maybe a little bit earlier than that, to give you some themes and recommendations for next steps. And then it is and we talked about this briefly, but, the EDGE, which is part of what I'm going to, be asking, how is this working and what we need to keep working on, officially sunset on June 30th, right, of 2025. So most likely we'll be taking that, we'll be refining it together, and you can anticipate that we'll have some kind of strategic roadmap or something that will guide the district for years to come. So what am I going to be asking when I start meeting with people? Well, I want to know what's really working. I want to know the strengths because we want to take the strengths and we want to leverage them and push them across the district as much as possible. And we want to honor them. We want to continue to highlight them, and we want to make sure that we resource them accordingly, right? So definitely want to know the strengths. I also want to know about the opportunities for improvement, or as I already used my little acronym, the OFIs. And in that, that's where we find out that many times the strengths can also have opportunities for improvement. And that's okay. That's what we want to see as a district. So those are the questions I'll be asking, whether it's a one-on-one meeting with individuals, whether it's a group meeting with, I plan on meeting, for example, with the DLAC leadership. I want to hear from them. What are the strengths? Where are the opportunities for improvement? And then if they were me, what would be the priorities they would focus on? When you ask children this question, it's fascinating what they give you. And they will give you a lot more on the priorities than they will on the other areas. And so I bring up the fact that I will be meeting with students when school starts. And they are the reason why we do our work. Let's see, I want to make sure. So I just want to close with the reason, on this slide, not close. The reason that I ask these questions is, yes, I have 32 years this is my 32nd year in education, but this is my 9th day here in Orange. And so it would be disrespectful to the traditions and the history and the people who have been here their whole career, and the people who have been here 2 to 5 years, it doesn't matter for me not to ask them, how's it going for you? What are our strengths and where are our opportunities? So I firmly believe that that is the role of the leader, and then I'll take that and I'll synthesize it. So the engagement strategy. So lots of different ways that this is going to happen. During the summer months, because people are on vacation, and I like people to take a vacation, they come back much more refreshed and happy to do their work. There will be not as many kind of forums or school visits or even department meetings. So this summer, I'm going to spend more time engaging with advisory groups that are at the leadership level of advisory, local electeds, our county superintendent, higher education presidents, and any other individuals that are around, right, during the summertime. When school starts, that's when I'll be out at schools, continuing to meet with individuals, but also being in the community and with our leaders. So I plan on bringing our principals together in groups to really hear from them, how's this working? And they'll be level-alike groups. So I'll bring my high school principals together, my middle school. Obviously, elementary is much bigger. I'll break them into smaller groups. I will want to hear specifically from some of the elementary schools that have like our dual language. These specialized programs, I think they might have some different information than other schools, but I will be bringing them together. And everyone get those same 3 questions. What's working? What are our strengths? Opportunities for improvement? What would they prioritize? The list that I provided in the entry plan, it is not exhaustive. And so if you're getting people that are reaching out to you and saying, I didn't see my group on there, please send them my way, give me the information, we will set up that meeting. That was just to get it started because really I probably could have had about 5 pages and still someone would have been missing. So I want you to know that as the elected board members. And so the reason that these engagement strategies are so important is that education is about people. We're in the people business, and we're about the big people and the little people, right? The big people serve the little people. And so I'll be going to where the people are. I'm going to be learning what is happening, observing, gathering information. You should not expect to see me behind a computer screen in my office. I do not believe that that's how you lead. I'm out and about. You might be like, instead of where's Waldo, it's going to be where's Rachel, because I'm going to be everywhere. And I really want you to wonder, how is she getting to all those places? That's what I want you to be asking yourselves. And when you start asking yourselves that, then that's how I know I'm doing my job. Because I need to be out where the game is happening. The game is not happening in my office unless I have somebody in there meeting with me. But when they're meeting with me, I'm with them. I'm not in front of the computer. So you already, if you send emails, you'll see I've already got an out of office on it that says, I'll get back to you in 2 days because I'm out and about learning about the community, engaging with people. If it's an emergency, reach out to Karen. She can find me and we can take care of things. I just really believe that in order to be collaborative, engage with people, you can't do that behind a computer screen. So much gets lost, and tone gets lost, and really the connection that's really important to leadership. So, you know, I see myself as a collaborative leader, and I believe that education is collaborative. And it is in our social nature, and it's the role of the leader to model this social aspect. So I don't believe it. Learning happens in isolation. So what's the timeline? Very broad. Starting these individual meetings this month, moving into some community events and/or meetings late July into August and ongoing. Really starting with school and department visits. You know, I'll be out there that first week all over the place, but I'm not going to count those as visits again, right? That's just to be out there and see people, see children, see staff, welcome them back. And then starting sometime in September, I will be hosting forums throughout the district, at schools, in the community, working with our community resource, our families and our community resource centers, so that people feel comfortable and safe to go to these meetings to give me information. And I didn't do this, or I didn't write this down, but I will also offer a virtual for people who would feel more comfortable doing that, because the information is what's most important. The data gathering, how am I going to gather all this data, right? 3 questions. Well, there are a variety of platforms out there. I've asked Cabinet to take a look and see, is there something that they would recommend? I know what I've used in the past. It's Thought Exchange. It's a great way to capture a large part of data or input. It's intuitive in that it's like social media. So you can choose the language that you want to give information and receive information. So it doesn't matter what language is put in. So I could put the 3 questions in there. The user or the person using it decides, so they might choose Vietnamese as the language. They'll get the question in their language, and then they write what they think are the strengths. And then we just have to display it during a forum. And then what happens is those strengths get put up there, and if you're reading it and you agree with that strength, then you like it. And so you can just keep liking and liking and liking, and it'll start the themes will rise to the top. So I used this in my previous district. It was very powerful, very immediate for people to see what the strengths are, and then we were able to pull all that together. And then the next step was to push it out to make sure that we're prioritizing. So that's one platform, but there might be something new. We might have something in-house, so we don't need to recreate if we have that. But there will be a way, not right now during the summer because it's small enough I can do it without the data collection, but as we go out, that's going to be a really important piece to have data that is truly representing the people who I'm engaging with. And I want to be clear that this is community, both external community, internal community, staff, students, all the different players, all the people in the sandbox. That's who we'll be working with. And again, I plan on coming back to you December at the latest with the themes and recommendations for next steps. So I'm going to close with this visual that you will see more than once. And it's just a reminder for all of us on the challenges that life brings to us. So we often want to think that success is just that straight line. Put a really good plan in place, execute the plan, we're good to go. And we know that that's not the reality. That doesn't happen in our own homes. And it's not going to happen in a school district. And so, and especially the complexities of educating children from the age of 3 actually, to 21 when we think about our children with the highest needs. Instead, it is what we'll call the squiggle. And we're going to have these ups and downs in our work. And in the entry plan, we've got a nice plan, and we're still going to have squiggles in there. We're going to have ups and downs. It's not always going to go perfectly. The timeline may not work exactly the way we want it. I'm comfortable with that. And I want you as a board to be comfortable with that, because we will reach the next step and we will keep going up and down with that squiggle. But together, when we do it together, we will achieve way beyond what we even think that we can at this very moment. Because remember, it's about building bridges and possibilities. And so with that, I want to thank you for this opportunity to lead this amazing district and for working with you. And I open it up to any questions you have.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything you'd like to say? You doing okay? Well, we're all just absorbing it. We're thinking about the squiggles right now.
Yeah.
Oh, Trustee Glass.
I could have saved this until the end, but I just want to say this. Your presentation was excellent. I appreciate your entry plan. I mentioned this in our one-on-one meeting. It's ambitious. I know you can do it, but you also mentioned being healthy. Okay, so we need you to be here, right? So do what you can. Do what you can. This is a forgiving, board, and we know that you want the best for our students and for our staff and for the cabinet. So please, do what you can to actualize your entry plan and your vision, but not to sacrifice your health. I just want to say that personally from me to you.
I appreciate that. My husband appreciates that too. We good?
Trustee Pelley?
Spoken like a true dad, I was going to save some things for the end too, but I just wanted to thank you. I've had a few opportunities, that we've been able to talk, and I just love that communication and engagement is just, you can tell it's a passion. It's not just, okay, I'm going to kind of say all these things. You really, truly have, already in 9 days, just what you've done is pretty impressive. And I agree, you need to, it's okay to slow down sometimes. But yeah, I just think it's great that you're so willing and so excited, and you can see that passion of really just engaging the community and communicating and getting input from everybody. And I think that's going to be really important for all of us to have a squiggly line of success. But just thank you, and we're just so glad that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just want to say real quick, thank you so much for your presentation. I appreciate your thoughtfulness and your thoroughness. I also appreciate the fact that you are incorporating some of the district and board's priorities into your entry plan. And I appreciate you being here, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
So I admire your leadership style and how you've incorporated everyone's thoughts just from the very first day we started having conversations to now, and including the community, and really value that you also prioritize all our families who need that additional assistance or the language in really trying to reach where they're at, just like how we do with our students of trying to meet them where they're at, that we are also doing that with our families. So I appreciate that you're really focused to be able to include it.
Thank you.
I will go ahead and say that I am happy I am here because I was supposed to be in Reno at a transportation conference. Glad that I was here to welcome you, and I am so happy you're here. And ditto to what everybody has said. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you also for the presentation. For my part, I would like to say that I very much appreciate how much you have reached out to us in multiple ways before you even, arrived here in Orange, and you've written and you've called and we've met, and I really appreciate feeling that my voice is valued. So I hope we can continue that relationship. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to be clear, we've met individually, not all together.
Right.
Just in case that was confusing at all. Yeah, thank you. And I've been just so impressed. Like I said, we have these issues that are coming up, the freeze on federal funding. You were right out there in front. I know we got a couple of really long emails from a concerned parent, and I was just shocked that you had just picked up the phone and called this person, and I know that person appreciated it so much to get a call from the new superintendent. days in, I think you had School Spotlight in your office and Foothill Century, and I really love that commitment and the confidence that you have in your plan and in your, I guess, in OUSD. And we're really looking forward to working with you. So thank you.
Thank you, as am I. Thank you.
Okay, next item is elementary and middle school math curriculum adoption update. Dr. Whitmer.
Thank you, President Erickson, and good evening again, trustees and Superintendent Menares. Educational Services is starting to undertake a process for adopting elementary and middle school math curriculum. And to explain the process and the timeline, I'm going to introduce our Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Lisa Green.
Thank you, Dr. Whitmer. Good evening, President Erickson, Board Trustees, Superintendent Menares, Executive Cabinet, staff, and community members. Tonight, I'm pleased to present an update on our elementary and middle school math curriculum adoption process. Our goals tonight are threefold. First, to provide you with an overview of the process we are undertaking for our elementary and middle school math curriculum adoptions. Second, to share the multi-year timeline. And third, to highlight the key phases, the people involved, and the major milestones ahead. But first, I want to take a moment to recognize our incredible math teachers on special assignment, Christine LaBautista and Allison Helsper. Their leadership and expertise have been vital in navigating this complex and impactful process. So why a new math adoption now? First, the California Mathematics Framework was revised in 2023, and the State Board of Education will adopt new instructional materials for K-8 math this fall. The framework outlines research-based guidance for how math should be taught, emphasizing equity and real-world problem-solving and coherence across grade levels and instructional practices that support all learners. Our current elementary and middle school math programs have been in use for 10 and 8 years respectively. While they have provided a good foundation for instruction these last years, newly developed materials are better aligned to the updated framework and are designed to meet the diverse needs of today's learners. Our vision for this adoption is clear. We want materials that are high quality, rigorous, and engaging. They must be aligned with the new framework and accessible to all students, including English learners, students with disabilities, and other special populations. Our adoption process is a deeply collaborative effort. We've partnered with the Orange County Department of Education for support on how to implement a vision-based math process and assembled an inclusive adoption team representing each elementary and middle school. The team is being trained on the new framework and will co-develop an evaluation tool to guide selection. The process includes 2 rigorous rounds of publisher reviews before we begin piloting. We have also submitted proposals for and been awarded 2 grants through the Orange County Department of Education to help fund this math adoption process. The first one we received earlier this year was in the amount of $10,000, and we just found out that we will be receiving another one in the amount of $37,700. This graphic outlines our 4-phase adoption journey, beginning in the 2024-2025 school year and culminating in full implementation in fall 2026. In 2024-25, we focused on the prepare phase, gathering data, meeting with publishers, and assembling our adoption team. Summer and fall of this year marked the study phase, where teams will be trained on the new framework, develop evaluation tools, and review instructional materials. Then, in winter and spring 2026, we move into the pilot and decide phase, conducting 2 rounds of piloting, gathering feedback, and reaching consensus on a final recommendation. Finally, in fall 2026, we enter the implement phase, rolling out the new curriculum supported by professional development and teacher resources. Each phase is purposeful and designed to ensure a thoughtful, inclusive, and informed adoption process. This year has focused on understanding our current math materials and building the right foundation. We surveyed our K-8 teachers, reviewed over 25 programs, held publisher interviews, and prepared our adoption team for the intensive work ahead this summer and fall. Our adoption process is driven by a collaborative task force made up of 3 distinct but interconnected teams: the review team, the pilot team, and the support team. The review team plays a central role in shaping and evaluating our options. They analyze survey and pilot data, co-develop the evaluation tool, and participate in both rounds of program reviews, where we will narrow it down from about 8 to 10 programs to 4, and then to the 2 that we will ultimately pilot. Most importantly, they pilot both selected programs and share their findings with their school sites to ensure all staff have the information they need to make an informed decision. The pilot team is similar to the review team, but are not as deeply involved in the development of the evaluation tool. They do receive training on it and on the math framework. They join the second round of program reviews to finalize the 2 programs we will pilot, and then they also pilot both programs as well. They also share the responsibility with the review team of bringing that first-hand classroom experience back to their colleagues and informing site-level dialogue. The support team ensures that all reviews and decisions take into account the diverse needs of our learners, particularly our English learners and our students with disabilities. Their expertise ensures equity remains at the forefront. They participate in both program reviews and provide critical feedback through their specialized lens. Together, these teams form the backbone of our adoption process, ensuring it is inclusive, thorough, and aligned to what our students truly need. So earlier I said we surveyed our K-8 teachers. So survey results from over 100 K-8 educators identified the most valued curriculum features as content aligned to standards and new framework, clear explanations and examples, a variety of practice problems, and those real-world application opportunities that really give relevance and engagement to students. These priorities will help guide our evaluation and selection process. So what is the dream? As part of our kickoff with our adoption team, we asked our educators an important question. What are we really aiming for in our math classrooms? What is the dream? To guide this work, we focused on 3 key areas that reflect our collective vision for excellence in math instruction. On the left, we considered ideal math instruction. What should students be doing and saying in a strong math lesson? And just importantly, how should teachers feel when a lesson goes well? We want instruction that feels energizing, effective, and purposeful. In the center, we reflected on ideal student behaviors. What does true engagement look like? How do we know when students are invested? And what does meaningful student-to-student and student-to-teacher interaction look like and sound like? On the right, we explored ideal academic goals. What are the critical math skills and concepts students should bring into a grade? And what should they leave with to be ready for what comes next? These prompts grounded our kickoff meeting conversations with our task force and helped us define what we are truly looking for in our new materials, resources that support this kind of deep, effective, and inclusive math experience. And here is a summary of the aspirations of our teachers for ideal math instruction and ideal student behaviors when they are learning math. These were not just philosophical exercises. They directly are going to inform the features we are looking for in the materials that we choose to pilot and then adopt. So I'll give you a second to just look at the words. And BTC, if you're wondering what that is, that's Building Thinking Classrooms. It's a math training that we've been doing with our teachers over this last year. It's called vertical problem solving. It gets students up and interacting and students doing the work of learning instead of being passive learners. There we go. As part of our commitment to inclusive access, our support team identified a set of priority features that instructional materials must include to meet the needs of all learners. For multilingual learners, also known as our English learners, The focus is on language-rich tasks that support meaning making through collaboration and conversation, as well as materials that incorporate mathematical language routines, known as MLRs, and align with the English language development standards. For students with disabilities, non-negotiables include accessibility features like text-to-speech, visual supports, and web-based platforms, not just static PDFs. The team also emphasized the need for executive functioning supports, which are features in instructional materials or classroom practices that help students plan, organize, initiate, and complete tasks effectively, such as interactive notebooks or enough space on documents for them to easily write on. Also, there is a need for differentiated materials, customizable assessments, and structured small group opportunities. These criteria ensure that any program we adopt will be inclusive, accessible, and responsive to the full diversity of learners in our classrooms. This slide outlines our key activities for the 2025-2026 school year, broken down into 3 main phases: summer, fall, winter, and spring. In summer and fall of 2025, we'll focus on building the foundation. Our adoption team will receive training on the California Mathematics Framework, and they will collaboratively create an evaluation tool to guide our program review. We'll conduct 2 rounds of program review with our adoption team, starting with about 8 to 10 publishers, narrowing it down to 4, and then selecting 2 final programs to pilot. We'll also provide training on the pilot programs and host unit planning workshops to prepare teachers for implementation. Moving into winter 2025-2026, we'll launch 2 rounds of 6-week pilots. One from about late November, early December through January, and the other from February through March. And teachers will engage in weekly feedback surveys and collaborative PLCs or planning workshops to reflect and share insights throughout the pilot process. And then in spring 2026, we'll bring it all together. The team will work with each of their individual school sites to make an informed decision, and then as a whole district team, we will submit a final recommendation to our curriculum council in April, bring it to board for a 30-day public review period, and then bring the adoption recommendation to board for final approval by June 2026. This will be followed by end-of-year and summer professional development to prepare for full implementation in the 2026-2027 school year. So, in summary, this is a comprehensive and inclusive process, intentionally paced to ensure thoughtful decision-making. Our aim is to adopt a curriculum that improves math instruction for all students and drives achievement across the district so that our students can reach the ultimate goal of graduating from OUSD schools, college, and career ready. Now I'd like to open it up if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Green. I'm sure we have questions or comments. Okay, Trustee Pelley?
Wow, that really was comprehensive and inclusive. That's impressive. First of all, just thank you, because I feel like this is something we've always done a pretty good job of. I think we've always done a great job of having teachers piloting and getting input. This just seems like even better, and I think every time we do it, it gets better. And I know that's largely you, and thank you. You don't take credit, but I know a lot of that is your leadership, so thank you for that. I have not seen the framework, just curious, is it a lot different than what we have? Are there a lot of major changes? You don't have to go into detail, because I need to research that.
Yeah, I can give you some more information on that later, but it's doing math around big ideas. Mm-hmm. So whether so instead of standards that are just standards alone that just kind of go along in a line, mm-hmm. the standards are grouped into big ideas. And so when we're teaching kids, it's easier for them to wrap their head around the math, and there's a lot more relevance. Mm-hmm. So real world applications is a big part of it. There's a lot of about equity in the framework. So, it really is a change, even though the standards have stayed the same.
Okay, yeah. And that's making connections is how mm-hmm. we all learn. So I'm glad to hear that. No, I think that was my only question. I'm just glad to see, I did have another one. I'm just glad to see all the language and even more having students kind of work on their own and the teacher as a facilitator mm-hmm. instead of, just kind of this is how we do it. It's that that struggle that they have to do and talking to each other. And as a teacher, it's hard because you kind of just want to help them. But I know we've done a lot of that already in our district and a lot of training. So I think that'll be something that won't be really new for teachers. Some of it's new, but I think when it's based on a lot of the good practices we've already been doing, we've had to, because this current adoption, as we know, hasn't been everything we've needed. But I think it makes it easier for teachers. It's not just, so here's a whole new thing. We have to change everything we're doing. We kind of got ahead of the game on that.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like you said, it's those connections with the math. And then that teacher as the facilitator is something that we've been doing a lot with the building thinking classrooms. It's okay for kids to struggle. And sometimes as teachers, we don't like to see that. But you have to realize it's the struggles where the learning really happens.
Right.
But then with the teacher there to guide and redirect. So
And
definitely.
we know, too, that they tend to listen to each other more than they will listen to teachers sometimes. And they also can speak to each other in kind of their language. And when you see them explaining to another student how they got it, there's just something about that. And I know we're doing more of that. And just to explain, with our state test, they don't just do math problems. So much of it, they have to explain, they have to apply, there's a lot of tasks involved. So this, I think, is even going to help more with that. My one question, just to keep in mind, and I'm sure you probably have this, it may have been on that, I didn't see it. We have our dual immersion programs. And I know most curriculum usually is available in Spanish, but for the Mandarin program, that's always a struggle to find math. And I know we do the instruction in English first, but we also need to have that backup. So I don't know if there's things available or if that's even a thought, but that's something to keep in mind.
That is something we're keeping in mind.
Okay, I figured, but I wanted to bring that up. But thank you. This is really exciting.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Excellent, thorough, as usual. I had 3 questions. You answered all 3. One of them had to do with the diversity, and you addressed that with regards to all the different populations that we need to be focused with. And of course, that's also in the framework. The outcomes of the pilot, you addressed that with regards to the evaluation tool that will be addressed. And then finally, professional development, that'll be next summer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa, for this presentation. I'm glad to see us receiving grants. That's always a great thing. I'm just wondering if you can offer a little bit of background. So when was the last time that California changed their math curriculum? And, how often have we, I know we adopt to those changes, but I mean.
So, our Common Core standards, which are our current math standards, came about in 2010. So in 2012 was the last time we really went through a K-6 math adoption process.
Okay.
But the curriculum that we got in 2012, which was Envision, our current curriculum, but it was the 2012 version, there was some issues in it. So we got a revised 2015 Envision in 2015. And so while it's been 10 years with our current curriculum, it's really been like 13 years since our last math adoption for elementary. Middle school was a little newer in that we have Envision 2.0 in middle school, and so we've had that for the last 8 years. So it's been a while. Usually we like to do curriculum adoptions every 8 years. But with COVID, what happened is they pushed off, the State Board of Education pushed off for a couple of years what was supposed to be the adoption of new materials. So that's why we should have gone through this adoption process a few years back, but we've been waiting on the state to come out with the new State Board approved materials.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I know that, so when you do come back to us, it would help me to just kind of see some examples of, here's what we had before, here's what we're envisioning, just so I can have a better sense of that. So thank you.
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you. I didn't realize we were going to go in a row. Thank you for your comprehensive and in-depth presentation. You addressed many of the questions I had as well. I appreciate especially the emphasis on real-world connections, because realistically, I don't think kids learn, they learn best when there is a practical application. I know my kids are like that. I'm kind of like that. My understanding is that the math framework may, and this is the state, may or not address some of the, I guess, the challenges that the curriculum may or may not provide for kids at the upper end. That was a criticism of it. And how are we addressing that?
So one of the criticisms with the math framework is that the suggestion in it that students not take algebra or math 1 until they get to high school.
Right.
So that is not something that as a district we have decided to follow, in that if we have students that are ready for math 1 in 7th grade or 8th grade, we have a way for them to access that math 1. So we do our accelerated math course with 6th graders every year. We have a session going on right now.
And that's the ANC,
That's
right?
the AMC,
AMC,
yes.
yeah.
So what that does is that is our way of meeting that need by helping those students learn the concepts that they would miss if they hop directly from 6th grade math into math 1. And so it fills those concepts so that the holes don't come out later in their higher level math.
Okay.
And then those students that are ready for that math 1 content can take it starting in 7th grade.
Okay.
So that's a way that we have addressed that.
Okay, great, because I want to avoid the misconception that we're not giving the kids who need the challenge that opportunity.
When we speak to diverse needs of all learners, we're speaking
Yeah.
to, our English learners, our student with disabilities, but also our gifted students.
Right.
So, you have to look at the needs of all learners all along the spectrum.
Thank you. And I want to also ask, will we be getting intermittent updates either through Friday packets or another presentation before?
Most definitely.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
We'll update you on our process.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Green. When you were sharing the slide about what is a dream, or how you prompted that in your committee, I felt like that was a really good PD option for convocation, potentially, of just like re-energizing our teachers. And then also because it's the topic of math, that it comes with a lot of preconceptions, especially if you don't love math. This last year at Chapman, some colleagues were doing a study specifically on bias towards math and how it wasn't the teacher's perspective of how they were introducing the topics to their students. It was actually the parents of like, as soon as the student brings their homework home, the parents are already saying like, well, I was bad at math, and the student already has that preconception that they must be bad at math too, which that whole generation of like students did poorly specifically in that academic area compared to the other group that had parents just saying like, even if they were bad at math, that they were telling their student that it was so much fun and that they loved it and that they were learning so much that thrived while they were learning math in school. So it's, I hope that kind of like feeds into this, like as we're rejuvenating what the curriculum looks like, that our educators also feel that way too when they're starting to teach it. And so I had a couple questions about the feedback surveys, and you answered it later in the presentation saying that teachers are going to be filling out the survey. So will that feedback feed into what the curriculum looks like if it's moving in the direction that in the pilot program that you were anticipating it would, or how would you like redirect based on that feedback?
So we did a survey a couple months ago with our teachers with a lot of different questions to kind of, is this very important to you? Is it not important at all? And, all the way in between, of a bunch of different aspects of what a curriculum could have. So we have that data, and we're utilizing that as we go through and narrow down the publishers and really dig deeply into those publishers. And then as the pilot teachers are piloting the curriculum, we'll have ongoing surveys and ongoing feedback with them. And then we'll also use some of our modified Wednesday PD time when we get into the 2026. I believe we're planning on like January and March, so that we can share with the teachers, share part of the programs we're looking at, and they can give us feedback right then and there in their meetings with their school sites, with their pilot teachers. And then all of that will keep kind of going in a circle, feedback loop, and kind of keep leading us towards the program that is going to best meet our needs.
And would you also get feedback from the students or?
Yes. So we
parents?
usually do with our pilots, ask for the teachers to give us some feedback from the students. At the secondary level, we'll actually give them little rubrics to fill out. But the elementary, a lot of it is verbal feedback from the students, and the teachers then provide us that information. Like the students were really engaged when we were doing this lesson, or, the students found this confusing, and we get kind of that qualitative feedback from them.
All right, thank you.
Could I just interject one more quick thing?
Of course.
If you don't mind. Thank you. Trustee Page brought up a good point about cultural bias, and that's something that I think that we should really look at. I remember when my child was in school and he was doing a word problem, and they talked about golfing and par, and something about, like how many points does this person have? Well, he didn't know what par was. I didn't know what par was because I didn't play golf, and that was kind of like, we didn't have the internet back then to look it up. But my point is, this is something that we definitely should keep on our radar to make sure that the questions or the problems that we get are going to be sensitive to those kind of things.
Yeah, and it's also about, building background knowledge for our students when things come up that, they might not have that experience with. Teachers really do a good job of trying to build that background for the student and give them those experiences.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Green.
Thank you.
All right, we are moving on to consent items. Are there any trustees that would like to pull an item? All right, we will have a motion as to all of the consent items at once. Do we have a motion? Trustee Thomas, I guess.
I'll move it.
Trustee Pelly, all right. Thank you. Trustee Pelly, do we have a second? I'll second. Trustee Omasaki, way to stand up. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. All right, it is time for public comment. Madam Clerk.
We have 6 non-agenda public comments, which allows 3 minutes each. First up, we have Paul Guzman.
I believe he could not make it.
Okay.
What's that? Yeah, he was not able to make it.
All right. Lee Lance.
Hello, and good evening. I'm here again to just talk about Prospect, and I don't mean to repeat myself, but my colleagues and I are very concerned with the possibility of the consolidation outcome. So I'd like to give some more reasons why it would be beneficial to keep Prospect open. As I stated last time that I was here, first, our test scores. Prospect is in the top 40% of schools nationwide, and those scores are proof of our positive mindset that we have. Both the teachers and the students have amazing work ethics. Second, our parking lot. Our parking lot has seemed to be coveted property as we have hosted special ed summer school for at least 4 years in a row now due to our parking lot size. In addition to our large parking lot, we have both sides of the street in front of our school and to the side of it where parents are able to park and drop off their students. Parents are busy, and easier drop-off and pickup will make people happy. In contrast, Esplanade's parking lot is small and challenging to navigate. Adding more people there will be a difficult situation. Next, Prospect feels like a safer campus. Our classrooms have a little bit less windows than Esplanade, and we have gates that enclose our entire campus. Also, Prospect has been remodeled, as you had mentioned that Esplanade had been remodeled as well. We have a lot more space on our campus, and portables would be easy to install. And for me, that's pretty much it. Those are the reasons I feel we should keep Prospect open. Thank you.
Okay. Eileen Zedek.
Hi. Good evening, President Erickson, Board Trustees, Superintendent Monarez, and Cabinet. My name is Eileen Zedek. I've taught at Prospect for 24 years. First, thank you for your hard work exploring the issue of school consolidation. I sent an email to you all on Friday, and thank you, President Erickson, for your thoughtful response. In that email, I addressed considerations that I hope will be vetted by leadership to look beyond data at what is feasible for consolidation. These are issues for any elementary consolidation. In the specific case of Prospect, I believe Prospect is better suited as the absorbing school and is also well positioned for facilities improvements and future growth. We have more efficient traffic patterns, a larger playground space, better campus security, and we meet the needs of the greater community. Some additional considerations, not in that email. VAPA. Assuming that we were to double participants in band and orchestra due to the consolidation, it would be really hard to fit each of those groups into a single classroom, and it will be much louder for students who share walls with them. I know, because for years I've shared a wall with the band, and it's very loud and distracting. Additionally, nothing else can happen on campus during this time. There's no library, there's no access to the STEAM lab, there are no assemblies, because these spaces are all occupied by VAPA, and it becomes a real scheduling nightmare. After school, we have about 100 students in ACEs and strategic kids, so every day there are 4 teachers or so that have 20 energetic students in their rooms while they're planning after school, or those teachers have to find a quiet place somewhere else on campus to work. If we were to double these programs, which would be expected, then more students would be in even more classrooms. This doesn't even account for the spaces that we have that we need for all of our teacher-led clubs, of which we have quite a few at Prospect. Prospect has ample room to accommodate portables in the case that we're going to have to put portables up, which sounds pretty possible. If consolidation is to happen, I hope you will examine these issues no matter which schools are involved. And in the specific case of Prospect and Esplanade, I hope you will strongly consider Prospect being the absorbing school. Thank you for your time.
Nicole Solasso.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Nicole, and I am the attendance and health clerk at Prospect Elementary School. When I was in 5th grade, I went to Fletcher Elementary, and I was 1984. That was when Olive consolidated into Fletcher. From a student's view, I didn't really see anything positive come from it. We didn't get any new programs or electives. In fact, I remember going from an individual student to an invisible student. We were squeezed together and forgotten. We were just seen as a bunch of students. There was a lot of picking and bullying going on unchecked. No one noticed. I never felt seen, cared for, or supported after that consolidation. Now, 2025, consolidation talks is picking Prospect to Esplanade. The El Medina neighborhood is a unique and urbanized area with a strong sense of community. Generational crime and gangs in this area shows special behaviors in our students. These kids will not benefit from a larger enrollment-sized elementary school. They need a school with smaller enrollment so that they can see and be seen by positive role models to help them break that cycle. They need to feel cared for and individualized. Keeping the population of our campus small has so many advantages. Stronger teacher, staff, and student relationships help us recognize individual students' needs and allows us to give tailored support. This smaller environment leads us to a more supportive, caring, and inclusive learning experience for our unique student body. Money is important, but I think many would agree that we need to take care of our students and give them a chance to become respectful, responsible, and ready adults in our community. Is now the time to be closing schools when we lowered the TK age to 3.5 years? The TK department says there are over 700 incoming TK students this school year. I would also like to add that for every 3 Esplanade students that would have to be bused to Prospect, 7 Prospect students would have to be bused to Esplanade. Also, the open enrollment numbers that were shared at the 3:30 informational meeting back on June 18th showed that 45 Prospect students are on open enrollment at Esplanade. This is mostly due to the fact that Esplanade has a moderate to severe SDC program, and those are siblings of those students. Some Prospect area parents also work at Esplanade, and so their kids attend Esplanade as well. Please reconsider closing Prospect Elementary. We are a model community school, and other districts come to look at us. Our school is a hidden gem. It is very secure, and is surrounded by quiet residential streets with ample parking that is also used by Fred Kelly Stadium. Prospect Elementary's North Field is home to Elmo's JV girls softball team. They practice and have their home games there. Elmo JV baseball also practices and their football. We have many programs there.
Esteban Villa.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and community members. My name is Esteban Villa, and I am a parent of students at Prospect Elementary. I'm here because I strongly oppose the proposed closure of our school and the plan to consolidate Prospect into Esplanade. Prospect isn't just where my children go to class. It's where they feel safe, supported, and known. It's a community school connected and rooted in relationships that matter to our families. Closing it would disrupt everything that helps our children succeed. I understand that the school closures are sometimes considered to address budget concerns or declining enrollment. Can Esplanade realistically absorb hundreds of students without overcrowding? What will the classes look like, and how will support services be impacted? Before closing any school, the district should show families exactly how much would be saved and what the costs of the transition would be, including transportation, staffing changes, and support for displaced students. And let's be honest, for many families at Prospect, the school is walkable, it's close to home. Many parents work multiple jobs, and transportation is already a barrier, forcing them to travel farther, although I know it's not that far. Without a plan in place, puts an unnecessary burden on working families. What's more, that means understanding how this will affect low-income students, English learners, and students with special needs. That analysis must be done, shared, and discussed with the public before any final decision. Closing a school isn't just a budget move. It's a permanent change to children's lives. It affects their mental health, their learning, and their stability. Once a school is gone, it's not coming back. So I'm asking you, do not move forward without full transparency. Don't close the school without all the data. And most of all, don't take away a school that so many families depend on, not without listening to the people it will affect the most. Please keep Prospect Elementary open. Thank you.
Esmeralda Garcia.
Hi, good evening. My name is Esmeralda Garcia. I'm the community school site lead at Prospect Elementary School. At last month's board meeting, Prospect was named during the school consolidation conversation, and I wanted to share some information that was not shared during that meeting with numbers. So $300,000 for year 4 and $225,000 for year 5 is how much money we're going to leave on the table. As you know, Prospect is a community school, and we have a grant with the Department of Education of California saying that they will be extending it for an additional 2 years. A lot of districts are fighting to apply to get community schools. We don't want to be the district that's closing our community schools. Our community school is depended by not only Prospect families, but families all around OUSD. We serve Elmo, Richland, Parkside, Esplanade. We are one of 4 community schools that has a partnership with the OC Food Bank. Our schools that currently are working with the mobile food pantries have seen a reduction in numbers of people going because their food distribution is outside. They have to stand in line, and with the current climate, they're not showing up. However, with our partnership with the OC Food Bank, we offer a unique solution to that because the way we serve our families is privately. There's no lines, there's no first come, first serves. It's in a more dignified, private way. We also have our free ink numbers, and we serve families from Esplanade, from Jordan, families from all over. These numbers have not been easy to sustain, but they trust us. They keep showing up. We have families that come, one of our parents, including who has a wheelchair, who comes all the way from La Purísima religiously Monday through Thursday. Closing Prospect would not only be closing our school, it would be closing a community resource that many families depend on. So thank you for your consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions if ever you want to have that conversation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That concludes public comment.
Thank you, everyone, for your really thoughtful comments. We appreciate you coming, and we appreciate hearing from you. Okay, board and staff recognition and comments. Are there any trustees that would like to share tonight? Trustee Glass.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll try to be brief. Want to welcome our superintendent. We're so pleased to have her here and to make this this vision come to fruition. After where did I want to start? After our last board meeting in June, Luke Thibodeau, who's a former student of mine, sent me an email because of my conversation about reading. So he was really positive. You know, I used to teach in Orange Unified. He was at Santiago. I hope you remember me. Of course I remember Thibodeau. You know, so it was something I remembered. But he's a really cool guy, and he's married now, et cetera. But in talking about reading, I wanted to give a brief update on my kids and reading. So Michael is reading a new book, Freetown. I don't know where he got it from, but it's awesome that he's reading because otherwise he can't play his guitar. Elijah is still reading Parable of the Sower, which is awesome. My daughter, Tegan, is not reading. The reason why she's not reading is because she's at soccer camp. So we decided to journal this week, right? So that's equally as important, I think, to be able to write down your thoughts. And then when she gets older, she'll be able to review those things.
To have Dr. Monarez here with us today. I think I would like to focus on all of those of you that came to speak to us tonight. I really appreciate that you took time out of your day. I hear you, I write down what you say, and I consider it. So thank you for coming.
Just really quick, I just want to thank Trustee Erickson for all she's doing in the community. I really appreciate you standing up for our students, our former students, and I respect you a lot.
Yeah, I wanted to add thank you for sharing all the information and advocacy during your president's report. There are a lot of families that are scared, and many may not know what to do or how to get support, but I also appreciate Dr. Monadis's comment as well of like, we're creating safe spaces here. And I value the work that you've already been doing collaboratively, right? Not just with President Erickson, but with Cabinet on identifying what's the best way to serve our students. And I'm looking forward to finding out what that is. I know that you want to do that very soon so that all families have that information before school starts. So we'll be looking forward to that. The summer has also been super busy. I know that everyone at the district office has been getting ready for the new school year. But there's some summer programs that haven't been highlighted that will probably be highlighted soon at our next board meeting. But there was a CTE summer program that I thought was really, really neat. And it was held at Yorba Middle School, where there were about 5 or 6 different CTE tracks that students were able to experience a different one every single day. And they serve lunch. That's one of the sites where we serve lunch, so they could have picked up lunch as well. And so I thought that was really valuable for our students to not just experience having school at one of our middle schools, but then also experiencing all the different programs that they could also experience when they get to middle school and high school. I did sign up my daughter for that and was waitlisted, but it got filled so quickly that she didn't make it in. So I'm so looking forward to hearing from families who did participate in that. Something that Fletcher Academy students are participating in this summer. It's a 4.5-week program, I believe. It's Mandarin Summer Camp, and it's held at Saravilla Middle School. And it's 3 hours of language instruction in the morning and then 3 hours of culture instruction in the afternoon. And so students rotate between learning Kung Fu, Chinese yo-yo, the dragon dance, fan dance, and then traditional Chinese instruments. There's like an array of culture experiences, and they get Mandarin instruction the entire time they're there, so it's fully immersive. I'm grateful for that, just mainly because we have so many students that maybe don't speak Mandarin at home that have that summer program to support them before they start the next school year. There's another program that has expanded this year, and I want to give a shout out to our early learning program. It's called Learning Links, and it's for any child 0 to 5 years old that can go with their grown-up at multiple sites this year, but there's too much information to share. So I'm sure that if you go to our social media, it's listed there. Our Learning Link does it basically like a 1 to 3 hour preschool morning where they have circle time and different developmental experiences on a rotation, not just indoor but outdoor. So imagine sensory tables, mathematics, literacy, and all the things that they get to experience. So summer has been busy in our district, and I'm looking forward to everyone coming back fully rested as well in the next school year.
Well, I echo a couple of the things you've all already said. I also had written down that I wanted to thank President Erickson for all that she does, her advocacy, and for really just restating, I think, what we all are committed to, which is creating safe spaces for our kids in our community. So thank you for that. Also, I wanted to just congratulate once again Dr. Miller on he's listening somewhere, on his retirement. I've had a chance, obviously, to work with him personally as well as a fellow principal, and just his passion for kids and students in this district is very clear. And I wish him well, but I want to thank him again. And then, what was my, and I also had written down, I just wanted to thank everybody for comments. I love to see when a school, Prospect Strong comes out with your shirts on. But, for all of you, we do listen to your comments. We appreciate them. We learn from you. I'm taking notes too. There are a lot of things like, okay, another thing we haven't thought of. And we really are wanting to hear from the community on those things that we can't all think of. So we just really want to thank you for that. And then I've been gone most of the summer, but I'm here for a while, and I want to make sure that I get out to a couple of the summer programs just in the next couple days and check in, because we might think that school shuts down and everything kind of gets quiet over the summer, and you all know, I'm looking at some of our teachers, you all know that's not the case. There's a lot going on in the summer. Even if you're not in summer school, if your parents are educators, they don't get a break, which is a good thing, right? That's a good thing. But no, we do a lot of really great things, and we will be able to highlight more of that, I think. But I'd like to be able to visit a couple and can share some excitement about that next meeting. Thank you.
I actually love to be last because I can just mirror most everything that they say. But speaking of busy in the summertime, I do know how busy it is at a school district because I am a former employee of Orange Unified, and I worked on many different crews. Having been a bus driver in the summer, we don't bus drive that often, but I worked on many different crews, including asphalt crew, paint crew. I know how busy it is. But anyway, with that, I also want to say welcome again to Dr. M. I was told I could call her Dr. M, so I was happy. Anyway, thank you so much. You have truly hit the ground running. I love your communication. It's excellent. Thank you to our executive directors for always being back there and listening. And again, thank you to coming out and giving up of your time. We are listening, and I do also write down. When I'm writing, it's usually what you're saying, so we get it. And I'm a former Cambridge, well, I can't say it anymore, Well, it used to be the Crusaders, but now it's the Cubs. And I don't want my school to close either. So anyway, thank you, and thank you all.
Thank you. As I said, former Prospect 49er here when we were the 49ers. So anyway, thank you to everybody again, mirroring exactly what you just said. We do appreciate when you all come out and we do listen. Thank you to staff. Welcome again to Dr. Monades. And again, always thank you to my fellow board members. I appreciate all of you. I learn from you every single month, and I appreciate you, so thank you. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 8:34.